right. Happy Friday, everyone. It's Friday for those of us who don't work on the weekends. For those of you that do, we apologize. Didn't mean to offend you. I get it, though. Worked 8 years in a retail store, so I understand. I completely get it. Well, as you can see, there's more than one of us here kicking this show off today. You probably recognize the face. You're going to recognize the voice. He's one of the hosts of Rollin into Mempho, one of the programs that you'll see following Memphis Wrestling on Saturdays that recap the show and give an unbiased and independent look at the show and its production in its entirety. So really good program. Check it out. Comes on right after Memphis Wrestling, streaming on YouTube at, I'll let you do the plug, BT, and introduce yourself.
It streams on Twitter and it streams on a Facebook page. They're shooting the shiznit Facebook page and also on my personal page, Brian Tramel, if you want to follow and watch it. YouTube version will start not this week, but next week. It will go directly to Championship Wrestling for Memphis. It will go to their YouTube page as soon as the show goes off. So we're putting it all over the place. Rolling into Mempho was a project that kind of an idea I came up with, and then all of a sudden Dustin says, "Hey, I'm just going to let you take over the whole thing and do the review of the show." Rhino joined us and. Man, it's been a fun ride. We're at episode 64 coming up tomorrow afternoon. 64. Can you believe that?
That is crazy to think that, 64 episodes of Memphis Wrestling, 64 episodes of Rolling into Mempho, kind of highlighting the newest iteration of Memphis Wrestling and showcasing the stars of today that are really helping set the stage for the next generation to come on and continue passing on that torch. And I'm telling you, they're crushing it. But the one thing I do want to remind our viewers, if you've kind of noticed some things along the way that, and I'm sure BT and Rhino have covered it in their shows, I do want to be upfront about this. You may see things that either, I don't want to say the term technical difficulty because Dustin popped me in the mouth for that, but it is a training facility. There are trainees there at the WrestleCenter that are helping produce this show, which makes it even more better because they're learning as they go. They're learning the ropes as far as wrestling trainees, production trainees. So if you're there at one of the shows live, we'd love for you to come up and introduce yourself, talk to us, get to know the trainees. And if you want to be a part of Memphis Wrestling, you can go to championshipwrestlingmemphis.com and go to the training section of that website and sign up and learn how you can become a new star of Memphis Wrestling. Let's talk about this week caught up episode 64. BT, I know it's going to be interesting. It's going to be heck to pay because we saw last week Big Swole Justin Cole has got red in his eyes, and what happened after the conclusion of last week's Memphis Heritage Championship match, one can only assume he is. And the posse have eyes in the back of their head because these guys, I know that Simon and Mr. Chris, as he's going by, I know that they're tough.
Hey, man, don't be calling him Little Chris anymore. It's Mr. Chris, Terrence. So, don't mess up there.
Yeah, I don't want to be hitting the back of the head with a sword. That's for sure. But, I mean, what were your thoughts on that last week, and what do you expect to see coming up this Saturday?
I mean, the thing about it is I was the guy that said the posse would never be booed. I said it a bunch on our show. And they are booed. I mean, they are bad guys, and no one can still like these guys. Big Swole, the storyline being that, he's their friend, and he is. I mean, here's a guy who really, hung around the posse when I was there a couple of times. It was them and Swole together. So here's a guy who is going to – well, if the posse are there tomorrow, all I can say is look out for Big Swole.
Yeah, I got to say – I tell you, that was a pretty rough beatdown and screwed Big Swole out of a championship opportunity because, I mean, you've got Memphis Muscle, the Gun Show Brett Michaels, Big Swole Justin Cole. That they've been tagging here recently and been doing a killer job of being a great tag team. But I really, really, really think that I really think that Big Swole might have had a legitimate opportunity to capture the title from Brett Michaels. Not saying anything bad about the Gun Show, but got to give credit where credit is due. Justin Cole is chipping away to becoming that number one.
With Justin Cole, Mike Anthony, everybody that steps in the ring, they have established that there is a chance that the belt will change hands. This all started with Alan Steele, where everybody he was against you really thought they had a chance. And I think that makes it interesting to me. I never know. I don't get spoilers, so I never know what's going on. They're taped ahead. And I mean, sitting there thinking we got a match coming up in a couple of weeks with Bret Michaels and Murder Hawk, and I actually predicted the finish to my wife because I don't know have any. I'm sorry, the wife. I have no idea what's going on, and that makes the fan in me, not the insider or whatever you want to call me, the fan in me get excited about what's happening with the belt and Swole can anytime in my mind have a match with Bret Michaels, beat him for the belt, and be the new champion. And I love that. I love that about it.
Yeah, and that just continues to add, I think, as we continue on with the legacy of the Memphis Heritage title, you're going to see some champions earn the right, regardless if you like them or not, but have earned the right to carry the title, good or bad. And I think that says something about the title itself and the legacy that it carries with it. And speaking of carrying the weight of the world, the master of Fat Jitsu is going to be in singles competition. K Toomer, the 387-pounder, is on a collision course with the Man Beast Rhino, but this week he's going one-on-one with Gio Savage, who's making his debut to Memphis Wrestling. I got to ask, is this the wrong place, wrong time for Gio to make a debut, or can we possibly see him undercut and get the pin on the master of Fat Jitsu?
When you say you're going to make your debut on Memphis Wrestling, you probably get all excited backstage, and then you say, "Hey, I got you against K Toomer today," and then it's just the look. Go, oh, Gio Savage. Have you seen this guy before, Terrence?
I have. He has definitely got a big personality, and that carries a lot for sure.
Yeah, but you got a big man here in K Toomer. I mentioned this on the show when I was talking with Dustin. I was in Newport at one of the shows, the house shows, as you say, or in
live events.
Yeah. Live events. I'm sorry. Yeah. I got to go live events. He is so big, Terrence. I mean, I'm a big guy. I hover about 282. I stand next to him and I felt small. He's tall. Yeah. He's wide as he is tall almost. And he's one of those guys too that we just talked about. At any time, you could put him in the ring with Bret Michaels and we can see a title change. And people go, yeah, I mean, it was a better day for K Toomer. But I kind of feel sorry for Gio Savage tomorrow.
I will say that if Gio knows what's good for him, considering the momentum, no pun intended there, that's been building up behind K Toomer leading up into this competition again, this match, not a competition, but this match against the Man Beast Rhino. I mean, these Rhinos is not as big or as wide, I should say, built as wide as K Toomer, but both guys are pretty stout. Is this going to be, two hosses, as I mentioned last week, going head to head? These two guys,
dude. I see. This has been filmed, so I mean, we're not doing spoilers. People know it's filmed in advance. I saw clips. Somebody had put a clip up on Facebook with their camera, with the real fuzzy clip. Yeah, and these guys are beating the heck out of each other. I mean, they went at it. So I cannot wait. It reminded me of a New Japan match. It really did, where they're in that spot where they're going back and forth with some of the hardest hits and everything. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of what was it we used to call it in school when you tatered somebody in the leg or in the arm. I mean, they weren't hitting each other in the leg and the arm. They were hitting each other in the face. But it is definitely laying those punch in and making contact. So it's going to be exciting to see that match, but I really feel for Gio. But can that over-the-top personality really help him be a distraction for K Toomer and maybe potentially, if not win through a pin, at least win in another fashion? And speaking of men who have really built up some momentum and somebody who is, we saw last week, we thought he was going to cash in the Cobra Cup. He's set for singles action. Mike Anthony taking on the returning DJ Brown as we await for his perfect moment for him to cash in that cup for title opportunity of his choosing. He's been kind of teasing us weeks after Krugger in the last few weeks teasing this, that he's going to cash it in, that he's going to strike like a snake coming out of the grass. And Mike Anthony, I'm telling you, I really, really think that Mike is on a course to cause Bret Michaels, if not the title, some very, very tough pain to hang on to it, because Mike he's got that red in his eyes.
I mean, I agree 100%. You're looking at Mike Anthony, who, might have been 150 pounds soaking wet the first time I ever met him. And both of us have watched his career from almost day one. He has, for the last 3 or 4 months, just been on fire. And not only at Memphis Wrestling, if you go, he wrestles other places. And I've got videos from 2 or 3 different promotions. This guy's on fire. He is at the peak. There's sometimes when the wrestler hits their peak, he is at his peak right now. And DJ Brown and him, I think I might pay a ticket price for about a 22 to 30-minute match between these two guys. It should be really good.
Yeah, DJ Brown, the son of a Memphis wrestling legend, of course, the hot stepper, Danny B. Good. He really is a chip off the old block. Now, DJ's his own man. He's his own wrestler and has really built a name for himself without having, like most second or third generation wrestlers who have that shadow. I'm telling you, Danny B has helped create a phenomenal wrestler in DJ Brown, and DJ has earned his spot, not just here in Memphis Wrestling, but at promotions across the Mid-South, and very talented in the ring. And I think him and Mike, from a weight standpoint, DJ is a little bit smaller when it comes to weight, but the agility's there. The agility is there.
You talk about DJ Brown being second generation. Look, I'm gonna plug my stuff. We had the Young Goats on STS Pod last night. We had Zay Washington, Aaron Roberts, and Coach Brandon. After the show, I actually give Brandon, and some people will get this and some won't, permission to use the clipboard. He can use the clipboard now because I told him if he's calling himself coach, he can use it. But fantastic. Aaron Roberts, second generation wrestler. Yeah. And I think I've interviewed enough second generation wrestlers from this area that I think they have a different total perspective of the wrestling business. And they know a lot more about what's going to make them a star than, say, someone that just started training or just came up training and wasn't around the business. I mean, absolutely. Aaron talks about being around the business all the time. DJ was too. He was going to the matches with his dad. This guy is very, very talented, and I'm not saying anything about Mike Anthony or the other talent in Memphis, but sometimes DJ's just a little bit too fast. Not in a bad way, but too fast for the other talent. So I really would like to see, like I said, I think I pay a ticket for about a 20-minute match with Mike Anthony.
Well, maybe we'll see that one of these days, especially at a live show coming up near you. And I know we're going to be talking about that here in just a minute after we actually, let's go ahead and talk about it now. We've got a lot of events coming up soon for Memphis Wrestling coming up here. Actually, I believe this weekend we will be, and I am right, we're going to be at Dave and Buster's for Sunday Slam live at Dave & Buster's. It's going to be an incredible event. Huge matches. For the first time ever, Memphis Wrestling will be live inside Dave & Buster's on Wolf Chase. This is incredible, beat. This is the first time this has happened at Dave & Buster's. This is the first time that Memphis Wrestling has been a spotlight to promote the show, as well as be there with one of the main sponsors of Memphis Wrestling, Dave & Buster's. Also, May 29th, Krugger from MLW will be at the WrestleCenter, and following that TV taping, we'll be back at Dave & Buster's for the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view watch party. It's absolutely free. You get a free game card if you find Dustin or myself or anybody with the Memphis Wrestling crew there. We'll give you a free game card. It's going to have a few games there that you can play between your favorite matches or before the matches start. So be sure to get there early, get your seat. It's always packed. Every time that my wife and I, BT, have been there, it's hard to find a table. It really is, because there's always a ton of people there.
I just want to know how they're going to do this. Inside of Dave & Buster's Sunday Slam, they got 3 matches. Did you see the 3 matches yet that they have announced?
I have.
And Go ahead. I'll shut up. I'll let you do that.
No. Go ahead. I'll let you know. This has never happened before. You and I, well, with the exception of rolling into Memphis.
Rolling into Memphis. You tried to take Rhino's job. So inside of Dave & Buster's, listen, I got my promoter cap on also. Inside Dave & Buster's, we have Mike Anthony against Brett Michaels, DK and Derek the King, and Justin Cole there against the Posse, and also K Toomer takes on Austin Lane. 3 big matches. They may have another one, and it's really exciting to think that it's in Dave & Buster's. I have such a great time every time I go, but you're right. It's almost like you're fighting for people when there's a wrestling show going on there.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to see the K Toomer and Austin Lane match. We've seen them fight before. We saw that little feud there culminate into a huge match that almost Austin Lane back into retirement. That was a pretty tough match to watch. Those two going head to head again. That's going to be interesting in the middle of Dave & Buster's. Hopefully nobody gets thrown through one of the games. That will be. I'm trying to give anybody any ideas, Dustin, if you're watching this. Saturday, June 4th. This is going to be exciting. June 4th, we will be at the Zoo Rendezvous featuring live Memphis Wrestling. Memphis Wrestling live at the Zoo, June 4th. Tickets available at memzoo.org, so you can get information on that event as well as ticket information there. And then, of course, June 12th, live Memphis Wrestling returns. Our television tapings at the WrestleCenter, 3296 Winbrook Drive. Tickets will be on sale soon for June the 12th. And Memphis Wrestling returns to Black Rock, Arkansas. Headlining that show, it's the Master of Fat Jitsu, K Toomer versus the Gun Show, one-on-one there in Black Rock, benefiting the Black Rock Entertainment Committee. So excited to be back in Northeast Arkansas. It'll be my first event in Northeast Arkansas with Memphis Wrestling. Had to miss the last one. I was actually out of town.
I actually was there, Terrence, and I want to make a point here with Toomer. Toomer has one blemish on his career, on his Memphis wrestling career, one blemish, and it was in Black Rock, Arkansas, when he went down to Derek King. So one time, Black Rock might be his Ouija board or something. He may be cursed there at Black Rock. So, hey, his only loss in Black Rock, Arkansas. Crazy, huh?
That's very possible. And we'll have to see. Brett Michaels is no pushover, as I mentioned earlier, and him and K Toomer, both of those guys are going to do an incredible job inside the squared circle, and it's going to be a heck of a match either way.
I got one thing to say about that match. Show enough. There we go. I got it right now. Show enough.
Hashtag show enough. So coming up at the last part of our show tomorrow, Saturday morning at high noon. Again, you can catch it on YouTube Live. You can join us in live chat where you can chat with the Memphis Wrestling's biggest stars, as well as less than 5 stars, the lovely Maria Stars co-host, and myself, along with, again, many of the other Memphis Wrestling talent there in the live chat. You can also catch us CW30 Memphis high noon, Arkansas's Ritter Communications Tubetown at high noon, and CBS Jackson at 11 p.m. there in that market. And I think there's a few other markets that are now broadcasting Memphis Wrestling, as well as some other deals that are in progress. Don't want to give any hints out until Dustin does that himself, but some exciting things to come with Memphis Wrestling on television. And speaking of exciting, main event, it's a tag team match. You were just talking about them, BT, the Young Goats versus the Skimmerhorns. We saw these two fighting each other for the Memphis Wrestling Tag Team Championships before the championships were crowned. So, in the Skimmerhorns, the first ever Memphis Wrestling Tag Team Champions, and the Young Goats defeating them for those tag team titles before losing those to the Posse.
Wait, let me tell you something, Terrence. Here's the difference. The Skimmerhorns are different now. They have Mikey with them. You never know.
That's true.
It's like both of these teams are kind of like the Freebird rules. And then you have the Young Goats have 3 members, and then Coach Brandon on the outside. So you can have a combination of anybody. So you never know. You never know who's going to be in the ring. All 6 of those guys are very, very talented, and I'm really excited about the main event. I'm a huge tag team fan. And when I was Coach BT, I always had a tag team with me. And I just absolutely love the idea of these two teams getting in the ring again against each other.
See, I don't I remember the Coach BT days. I guess I just don't remember maybe that was before my time.
It could have
Not
been,
like
and
my
we
living
talked
time, the
about,
wrestling time.
yeah. It was, it may have been Brian. My buddy Brian Thompson was around a little bit during that time, but I did it. I was on the road for like 5 years.
Was that
Doing
about the same time as, because you mentioned Brian Thompson? Was that around the time as Midnight Gold? Him, Greg Anthony?
no, that was way before Midnight Gold.
Okay.
Yeah. I was doing the website when Midnight Gold came out. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which, by the way, was my idea. Just so everybody knows, I'm taking credit. Actually, it was my idea. I come up with it in West Memphis, Arkansas, in the parking lot. So,
well, if Brian Thompson watches this, I definitely want him to respond to that on the next time he co-hosts Rolling into Mempho with you.
He knows. He knows I came up with it.
We also have unfinished business. So the Murder Hawk monster, Lance Archer, by the way, fresh out of his title opportunity against Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Heavyweight title. He's fresh out of that match. He's coming back to Memphis Wrestling. He's some unfinished business. So folks are going to have to stay tuned until the end of this show to see what happens. It's going to be wild because we remember the last show, and you and Rhino covered this. It was not good. He had to be restrained by several people from the locker room after getting the Gun Show lariat over the top rope out of the ring by the Gun Show Bret Michaels.
Here's the deal: 81,000 views for the last time Lance Archer was here. 81,000. That's the most of anything that's been viewed so far, except we had a feature actually on Memphis Wrestling, the highest viewed. 81,000. There's people interested in this, not only in the Memphis area, and me, I'm from Northeast Arkansas, live here. You also live here. Well, actually from Southeast Missouri, but we live in Northeast Arkansas. It's not about us. That's the kind of stuff that makes interest everywhere. When you do something with Lance Archer and being with AEW. Here's the deal. We're going to see him come out. He's going to, this is what I'm being told, that he actually comes out. I don't know if they touch or not, or they go against each other, but he will go against Bret Michaels. 2 weeks, I think. So my question to you, Terrence, and I don't want to spoil her, but what's going to happen if Murder Hawk, and I'll go right back to what I was saying earlier, this guy has a chance to win the belt and take it away. He can go and defend it anywhere he wants to. That's
the thing. And we've seen this happen. We've seen this happen with the title in Memphis Wrestling already. Heather Monroe winning the women's title a few months ago, and she took it back to California with her and defended it at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. So we saw this happen before with one Memphis Wrestling title already. It would be interesting to see a Memphis Heritage title on AEW television or at another televised promotion that Archer would be for. It's hard for me to picture that, not from the improbability of it happening, but just holy cow, the opportunity there is huge. Huge.
And it would be awesome. It would be awesome for Memphis Wrestling people, for the belt to be on television with AEW over close to 1 million viewers every week. So that would be one of those things where you get exposure. They go, Memphis Wrestling, some people don't know it's back and hey, I'm going to go try to watch it kind of thing. So he can't do anything but to help in Memphis Wrestling and the fans there. I tell you, I call myself an insider, Terrence. I want you to know that I'm an insider. So I know all these inside stuff going on but I don't like to spoil stuff and I don't like to be spoiled. Let me key you in on something for tomorrow's show. Uh-oh. Everybody listening to this, listen. Do what?
I said, this isn't my idea.
No, it's not. There's a video on the show that I have seen. Let me just say I've seen the video. It is one of the best things that Memphis Wrestling has put on. It is so real. I'm not even going to mention who's part of it. Make sure you're watching every minute of tomorrow's show. And Terrence, I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about, but gosh, it is awesome. It is awesome.
I might know what you're talking about, but We'll keep that. We'll keep that. Matter of fact, speaking, I think we'll visit Dr. Kayfabe to see if he can write us.
Yeah. They'll do that. But very, very, very well done. Y'all, the fans will absolutely love it. So.
Oh, it's going to be great. And you know, you never know what's going to happen in the fastest hour of Memphis wrestling, of pro wrestling in general. Join our hosts, Dustin and Maria Starr, tomorrow again, high noon. We're going to take just a quick second before we close out our show to thank our wonderful sponsors, Southern Roofing and Renovation. Looking for a trusted roofer in the Mid-South? Look no further than the award-winning Southern Roofing and Renovations. Call Anthony for a free quote at 901-672-1292. Southern Roofing and Renovation. Call Anthony. He's definitely going to be there for you to help take care of any of your roofing needs. And I got to say, with the hailstorm that came through Northeast Arkansas, my car is in the shop. Brand new Charger, hail damage from the front all the way to the back, down the sides. Oh, I cried so much. Not going to cry as much as, well, anyways, yeah, it was rough. It was not good. Last year we had the straight line winds that came through, blew a tree over like 3 inches off the back bumper of my car. Didn't have a scratch, but it took a hailstorm a year later to do it. So
yeah, I mean, the people don't. If you're watching this on YouTube and you live somewhere else in the country, you don't understand. Terrence and I, we live in Tornado Alley. And we're used to it, and it happening. Used to the last tornado that came through Jonesboro that destroyed the mall and everything. Terrence, the wife and I were taking a nap, and the tornado actually goes over our house. We don't even know it, and I wake up fussing because there's sirens going off. So it woke me up from my nap. The tornado did, Terrence. I had a reason to complain. So
yeah, we watched in horror at our house live on television, and you know we got family there in Jonesboro too. So, but glad everything was okay, and we're going to end things off on a good note. Again, we've got a lot of great events coming up. Let's pitch over to Dustin for BT. Join him after the show live on Facebook at stspod.club. You can check them out there as him and Rhino JB cover the Memphis Wrestling episode number 64 and talk about all the things that happened on that show. And you can join Dustin 5-Star on YouTube and Facebook as he covers and talks about the show as well. It's around 10 or 15 minutes, but catch both of those little live reactions from Dustin and Brian and Rhino JB as they talk Memphis wrestling every single week. BT, thanks for having me, man. This was fun.
Hey, thank you, Terrence. I'm doing a payback because you came in and jumped in on Rollin into Mempho a couple times, and I do appreciate it. I love the idea. I love the idea of this show. I told the wife something else about this. I said, it makes me mad because I didn't think of it. I could be doing this, though. So if you ever need someone to do it, you know, you can always get to me. So, yeah, thanks a lot, man. I had a fun time.
Well, I appreciate it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget high noon tomorrow live on YouTube, as well as broadcasting on CW30 Memphis, Arkansas's Ritter Communications Tubetown, and CBS Jackson at 11 p.m. there in that local market. You can find out more information on streaming locations as well as upcoming events, championshipwrestlingmemphis.com, and follow them on social at CW30 Wrestling. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time right here at Before the Bell.
Memphis Wrestling tag teams with Dave and Buster's for 3 big free events starting May 8th for our WWE WrestleMania Backlash Watch Party. Then, Sunday, May 15th, it's Sunday Slam live Memphis Wrestling inside Dave and Buster's. And May 29th, watch AEW Double or Nothing with us. That's 3 big events, all absolutely free at Dave & Buster's Wolf Chase.